start repairing the damage caused by the armed terrorists in Bab Amr. Putin wins the Russian presidential elections with 63% of the votes. And President Hugo Chavez of Venezuela expresses solidarity with Syria, calling for an end to armed and diplomatic attacks against it. Good afternoon and welcome to News in English. After normal life was restored to Bab Amr and Homs, the service departments are now rehabilitating the quarter and cleaning it. The Syrian oil company is also repairing the oil pipelines which were sabotaged by the armed terrorists in al-Sultaniya area.
The service departments are repairing the damage caused by the terrorist crimes everywhere. Peace and calm have been restored, while work started to rehabilitate various institutions. Cleaning workshops began to repair the damage in various places. They are removing the blocks which the terrorists set up in the streets. A number of citizens in Al Brazil Street expressed great comfort for being saved from the terrorist gangs who created a nightmare of panic and displaced many people.
The Syrian army came, I felt safe. Then vehicles were brought to clean the police utilities damaged by the terrorists.
We sent a cleaning crew to repair the damaged streets and to restore the public services. The terrorists spared no place of their crimes of sabotage, including the light poles, water pipelines, and even the trees.
In Bab Amr, the security forces continued to attack the hiding places of the terrorists, who planted panic and destruction everywhere. They used people's houses as stores to hide their weapons. They even used them to make explosive devices and to open fire on civilian citizens and military personnel. A field hospital was captured. The terrorist gangs used it as a hiding place. The Syrian oil company began to repair the pipelines sabotaged by the terrorist criminals. This operation will take 10 days.
We brought the technical equipment to repair the pipelines which used to feed the Homs refinery. It was damaged by terrorist explosions in Bab Amr and al-Sultaniya.
The life of the people of Bab Amr and Homs was full of pain and suffering as a result of the crimes of the terrorist gangs. Syrian TV interviewed some of the people there.
We used to hear heavy gunfires. Schools went out of work, and the students, particularly those who were about to graduate, suffered a great deal. We used to hear gunfire and to run from one house to another. Things remained terrible like this for 35 days, till the army came and saved our children. The armed terrorists prevented us from playing in the streets. When the Syrian army came, we felt safe and began to play freely.
11-year-old child Mahmoud Batayhi was killed and 5 others from his family were wounded in a blast of an explosive device planted by an armed terrorist group in a garden near Salah Sabbagh School in Bustan al-Bashar area in Aleppo city. The wounded were taken to Al-Razi Governmental Hospital.
A man came to our neighborhood. He wrapped a bomb with a sheet of paper. Then he put it aside. I felt that there is something wrong. I told my cousin what's there. He searched it and the bomb blowed us.
I went to call my cousins to come. At that time, the bomb exploded. I was hurt.
This man was hurt in his left thigh. It was totally shattered. The hand at the elbow was completely damaged. Probably it should be amputated.
I ran and I lifted a boy hurt badly in his back. The father shouted, "My kids are there." I took the 2 kids to the Zahi Azraq hospital.
These are innocent kids. They did nothing. How would they hurt them? This is a criminal act.
All of my car doors were damaged due to the explosion.
In Lebanon, the Lebanese army arrested a group of armed terrorists that stole into Syria and captured a large quantity of weapons. Meanwhile, a number of Syrian terrorists were detained when they entered Lebanon from Al-Qa area on the border. The Central Election Committee in Russia announced that Mr. Vladimir Putin, the candidate of the Party of United Russia, won the presidential elections with the support of a large amount of votes after counting more than 99% of the votes cast. His votes were 64% more than those gained by the nearest rival. This means that Mr. Putin won from the first round and will be president for the next 6 years. Gennady Zyuganov and Mikhail Brokolov won the second and third ranks respectively. More than 65% of the eligible voters cast their votes in the ballot boxes. Popular celebrations continued in the squares and streets of Moscow and other cities throughout Russia. Mr. Putin asserted that the Russian people have shown everybody that Russia would never allow the scenarios of political provocation to undermine the Russian state. Members of the Syrian community in Belgium and the Netherlands rallied, stressing their support for their homeland in confronting the schemes that target its security, stability, and independent national decision. Syrians gathered in front of the Syrian embassy in Brussels, expressing rejection of foreign intervention in Syria's internal affairs and their confidence that Syria will overcome its crisis. President Hugo Chavez of Venezuela reaffirmed solidarity with the people of Syria and their leadership against the savage plot and imperialist attacks. He also condemned American pressure against Syria. In Havana, where he is staying after his surgical operation, Mr. Chavez asserted that he was acquainted with the international situation, particularly in Syria. He called for an end to the armed aggression and diplomatic pressure. He also called upon all parties to take part in solving the crisis through dialogue without any preconditions. In the framework of protecting the rich cultural and religious heritage in Syria, a book about Saint Maron was signed by Italian and Spanish authors in the Spanish cultural centers in Damascus. Here's the story.
With the aim of preserving the rich religious and architectural treasures in Syria, a book entitled Mar Maron was written by Italian and Spanish authors Pascal Castellante and Romualdo Fernandez, who lived for more than 20 years in Syria and made their research digging deep in the Syrian history.
The aim of this research, which was made along with 8 other books on the archaeological and Christian sites in Syria, is to preserve this precious religious and architectural wealth and to make it known to the public.
The book tells the life story of Saint Maron, a Christian hermit who was born and lived in the 4th century in the town of Prad, north of Aleppo, where he built a church and had many followers who lived mainly in Syria and Lebanon.
Mar Maron is a Syrian hermit who lived in Syria. He is not a Lebanese, although most of his followers live in Lebanon.
After signing the book, the author recalled the visit of Pope John Paul II to Syria and asserted that the Syrian people and government have always hosted such prominent Christian figures.
I received Pope John Paul II, and I would like to thank not only the Syrian people but the Syrian government for showing such love and respect to that figure that represents the head of the Catholic Church in the world.
Director of the Spanish Center also expressed keenness to enhance cultural cooperation with Syria.
The Instituto Cervantes, the Spanish Cultural Center, has been open for more than 60 years, and also we can have the presence of Franciscan priests in Syria for at least 500 or 600 years. In this case, we want to work with them and collaborate in the promotion in their cultural activities we have in common.
The world remained interested in the origin of great saints and religious figures such as Mar Maron, who lived and were mostly cherished and respected in the rich and blessed land of Syria.
A musical show entitled Love Songs was performed last night by the Sham Choir at the Hamra Theater in Damascus. Here's more.
The Sham Choir, led by Hussam ad-Din Primo, held a musical show entitled Love Songs from the 20th Century, using Oriental instruments. The choir chose 12 Damascene and Egyptian love songs for this evening. They include The Nice Breeze, I Care For You, When Will You Know, and You Broke My Heart.
اخترنا 5 أغنيات سورية بتحكي عن الحب و5 أغنيات
We put together 5 Syrian love songs and 5 Egyptian love songs. They are all over 20 years old. The band was established in the year 2006 and it is dedicated to the Arabian tradition. They use Oriental instruments, about 5 or 6. Mainly they like to show people that the classic art can still entertain and it is simple, beautiful and deep.
Founded back in the year 2006, the Sham Choir mainly focuses on singing in a traditional manner and preserving the Arabian heritage. Most of the band members do this as a hobby and they have other jobs. The band also took part in the festival that was held celebrating Damascus as the capital for Arab culture.
Well, this brings our news bulletin to a close. For more news, log on to our website, syriaonline.sy. Vani joins us now with economy news. Do stay with us.